Hello everyone, my name is Chandria. Welcome to Chandria Carol Stitches. Thank you so much for being here. This is my Flosstube channel where I mainly talk about cross stitch. It has been a minute and I don't have a ton of cross stitching to show you, but I do have some knitting. And of course, there is still stitching, just not as much as you would expect for how long I've been gone. I'll talk about some of the things that I've gotten into since the last time we chatted. Towards the end, I'll do a life update, but I just lost my stitchy bug a bit. I think I started getting behind. Like I was busy, work, travel, personal events, stuff like that, and I started getting behind on the goals I'd set for myself, and then I got guilty because I felt guilty because I got behind on those goals, and then it just snowballed, and here we are. It has been, I think, about a month and a half or so since the last time I filmed. So I guess we'll just get into it. We'll go through what I have been stitching on, we'll get into the knitting, and we'll go from there. So firstly, we will talk about the thing that I believe I have put in the least amount of work on. So this is Year of the Dragon by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So it looks like. I will pop up a photo of where it was last time. And then here is where we are now. So I believe I just added in this yellow all the way around the inside of the border. I actually did this in a hotel room because I could just watch Flosstube. I didn't need to count because I'd already done the pink in the border, so I just need to go around it. Okay, so this is stitched on 32 count lightly salted, not roasted linen by BeStitchMe. The needleminder is also by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I have stitched 1,051 stitches on this project out of a total of 2,341, so putting me at 44.9%. It's not a big project, I just need to sit down and do it. Isn't that what we all say about everything? Okay, next we will do Castle Homecoming. This is a pretty ratty picture, I think, but this is what it looks like. Castle Homecoming by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was last year's stitch along. So I'll pop up a photo of where it was last time. And here we are now. So what I added was up here. I added this, I guess, Prince, King, maybe, here on the tower, and then started the border. There's a lot of color changes in that border. Looks great, but lots of color change. This needleminder is also by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I believe I've done like 350 or so stitches since the last time you saw it. This is stitched on 32 count Picture This Plus Valor linen. I have stitched 14,905 stitches out of 18,866. That puts me at 79% done. I have 2 parts left to complete out of the original Sal parts, which is the guy in the border was is one part, and then there's like the clouds, the sun on the inside as the very last part. So just from like here up on the outside, everything on the bottom is all done. I love the little chonky dragon. So yeah, I already have a frame for this and everything. There's just a few thousand stitches left. I really need to do it. So I think there's, let's see. There's like 4,000 stitches. But we'll get there. That one is a relatively big priority as far as my larger projects go because it is so close to being done. I have the frame ready to finish it. So that's that one. I just have 2 more things I worked on. Next we have Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. This is a popular one, and for good reason. There's actually a sale going on for it right now. Hold on. I think it's Quaker Ween sale, but let me look. Okay, so I have hashtag Spooky Quaker Sal, but I do also think there is hashtag Quaker Ween, or I don't know. It'll be listed down below. I'm bad at remembering these off the bat. So I'll pop up a photo of what it looked like last time. Actually, why did I unfold this? But here is where we are now. This is 32 count Murky Lugana by Picture This Plus. The needle minder is a pin from Grave Markings that I turned into a needle minder. This whole fabric is just stunning. And I have this tiny little bit on it. But yeah. So let's get you stats. I have stitched 3,236 stitches out of 17,997, putting me at 18%. So, like a fifth of the way. What I completed last time was I did these little pumpkins because I wanted some color. I finished this doodad and started this spider doodad. I love this one so much. Okay, and last project that I've worked on since you have seen me is going to be the Deadly Aquarium Style by Lola Cross Stitch. I will pop up a cover photo of this because I don't have a printout of the final, what it looks like all together now. This is a stitch along that relatively recently wrapped up. Maybe just a few weeks ago it finished. So you've probably heard of this one. Very popular. But yeah, so I'll also pop up a photo of where it was last time. I believe I had just had up through Exhibit 2. Remove my needleminder. There we go. So here is what mine looks like now. Trying to make sure you can see. So I have put in 2 more exhibits. I put in the fire coral down here, and then I put in these 3 fishies. 1, 2, 3. This one, the needle minder is from a Disney pin. This is one of the original Pirates of the Caribbean Disney pins from I think like 2007. That I turned into a needle minder. And then this is stitched on 32 count Lagoon linen by Fiber on a Whim. And it does look so good. I've seen, you know, photos of finishes. I've seen friends finish it. It looks spectacular. So I have stitched 9,692. Never mind. I can't give you accurate stitch count because I haven't updated my Notion with the overall number of stitches. I think I've got a lot of the updates, but I don't have all the updates, so it's not an accurate stitch count. Oh well. I'll have that for next time. Update my Notion. But yeah, that's all I've stitched on. And like I said, I know that's not a ton, but it is what it is. At this point, I don't want to make a bunch of plans, set a bunch of goals that are going to lead me right back to the situation of, I don't know, guilt, which then further keeps me from stitching. So we're getting into what I would consider spooky season, so I just want to work on whatever calls to me out of my more seasonal, like fall and spooky themed whips. Other than that, we're gonna leave it plans wise. I am going to Stitch North at the end of October, so I need to get my button gear and get a small together for that. I have a little bit of haul. I have my fabrics of the month, that's about it. I also have like an amazing piece of stitchy kindness that I want to talk about, and then I also want to talk about my knitting. Maybe if I can wrap this up relatively quickly, I'll talk about a couple books, and maybe some games, so we'll see. Let's do knitting. I think more people are likely to be interested in that than the rest. So it's my kitty. I know, it's almost dinner time. So, since you have seen me last, I believe I had started a sock the last time we talked. Maybe not even started it. I really can't tell you. I didn't go back and completely watch my video for my last video. But I have finished a sock. So this is Vanilla Socks for 9-inch Circulars by the Crazy Sock Lady here on here on YouTube. I shortened the leg by like 20 rows, but it's still pretty long. These are for my grandma. I figured she was the only person who would like a, you know, hand knit socks full of love and lots of mistakes. So I got her foot size and made them to her measurements. Overall, I'm pretty happy with them. They're not perfect, but I learned a lot, and I'm pretty proud of the toe, that's for sure. The heel could use some work, but I also had issues with, I guess, like tension or something when I picked up my gusset, which gave me, I don't know if you can tell, but this lovely hole where you pick up your gusset stitches. So definitely room for improvement, but this is a fully functional, wearable sock. I could not be more thrilled. So proud of myself. Let me tell you what the yarn is. So it's Perfect Pair, Michael's Loops and Threads brand, in the color River. It's a self-striping sock yarn. It is, what does it say? 70% acrylic, 23% viscose from bamboo, and 7% polyester. So I'm not sure on the longevity of these socks, but it was very affordable for a beginner. The color was pretty, it was pretty easy to work with, feels good, so it's fine. I went ahead and started the second sock, and I have the cuff and the leg done, and I just started the heel flap. So that's why it's on DPNs at the moment. So on the first sock, I did it 100% on 9-inch circulars, except for the toe where I did DPNs. For this one, I'm trying the heel, putting the front of the sock on a DPN and then working flat the heel flap to see how that, I don't know, easy or harder, see how it is. Because doing it on the 9-inch circulars, it got tight and hard to get your needle in. So I wanted to see if this was any easier. She mentions it as an alternative method. And then I also want to try, for the toe, I want to try Magic Loop when I get to that for this one. Since they're learning socks, we're going to try out all the things. I really can't recommend the video tutorial for the 9-inch socks, 9-inch circulars vanilla socks enough. It's so good for beginners. She shows everything really well. I really love how she explains why she, like over the years of doing so many socks, why she's doing things a certain way. She explains how she does a start of round and a middle of round marker, which even though her pattern is the same on both the front and the back for like the leg and the foot of the sock, if you're doing a pattern, you're gonna need that so you know what's the front and what's the back of the sock. She teaches you so much that you can then build on to go on to like more advanced patterns. So cannot recommend that enough for beginner sock knitting. She also links to other videos like the longtail cast on. I had never done that before, and she had linked an additional video of just that, and then a couple other spots I believe she either linked or had clips of different ways of doing things. So yeah, love it, couldn't recommend it enough. When I finish these, I will probably try one more pair of the vanilla socks, because I learned, I believe I bought it because on the ball of yarn, I think it says to use a size 2, a US 2 knitting needle. So I got my 9-inch circulars in a size 2. Even though the pattern for the Crazy Sock Lady vanilla socks calls for a US size 1. I don't know, I mean obviously it makes a difference, but I don't know how big of a difference it would make, and I would like to see that. So I did go ahead and get like a size 1 for my next pair, and I also want to make them short. I just want to do like 10 rows for the cuff, 10 or 20 for the leg, and start the foot. I want to make shorties. So I'll probably do one more on that pattern, just customizing it, seeing what I like the best, getting better, and then who knows. I would really like to try out some other more interesting as far as pattern goes. Like Tara of Little Woman Crafts just finished one that had cables on the front, like one on each side of the foot. It looks so cool. Cables intimidate me. I don't know. I don't know if I want to start with cables on a sock, but I was also intimidated by DPNs up until doing this, the toe of my previous sock. So we're all about learning here, learning new things. Gotta love it. So those are the socks. That's a really good travel project. A lot of that sock was done in airplanes because it's so easy and portable. I'll probably keep that up. But I also worked on my shawl. So this is the Lost Woods shawl by Justine Chanel, I don't know. This came as a kit with the pattern from Forbidden Fiber Co. This is what it will look like. You can tell this pattern has seen some stuff. But yeah, so here is where we are. It has gotten shawl-like. It's very large and unwieldy now. So I'll do like a pan. So down here in the bottom, I really like these. I think they're slip stitch crosses. I really like that. Of course it's really tight, so it will need to be blocked, but this section's brioche. Hated, never want to do that again. This is really simple. It is just alternating knit and purls to make like to make a pattern. More brioche. And see, this was a learning shawl too. It had a lot of different stitches, a lot of different techniques that now I know either I like or don't like. I don't like brioche. I don't know why. It wasn't that it was that difficult. I just feel like I could not get it to look right. I don't know. I don't like it. So I wouldn't say I would never ever do it again, but I would certainly never choose a pattern that was the entirety of it. And thanks to this for teaching me that. Let's see, so more slip stitch crosses. Trying to wrangle my yarn. Okay. And then all of this was just like garter and some grill stitch. And then starting with this yellow that I'm working in, there's going to be some color work. It'll be my first time. I'll show you. Didn't drop the pattern. Oh, here's a little better photo. They're color work triangles. And like I said, it'll be my first time doing that. It's using like a grid pattern. Honestly, I don't think it writes it out. I think that's what you get. So, like that sort of grid. But yeah, I have looked for this pattern to link before and I've not been able to find it. I haven't looked again recently after I've hunted a few times and couldn't find it, but I don't know if it was something that was exclusive to this kit, or maybe it was going to be and then will be released later and just hasn't been released yet. But it is probably 2, maybe 3 years old at this point, so I don't know. But yeah, I actually am gonna do this as a gift. So where it was a mystery, you didn't have a clue what it was, and I have loved learning with it, but I don't know, like I'm just not huge, I would guess, on this color palette for myself, but I have a coworker who is very fashion forward, unlike myself, and I know will really appreciate a hand knit. She also really likes to wear scarves as like shawls, scarves as accessories. So yeah, I know it will get some love. And then I wanted to show one new thing. Now this is not new as far as me working on it, but this is new as far as this channel. So this is the Perseverance blanket. 2022, December of like 2022 going into the year of 2023. It was a year-long knit-along from Expression Fiber Arts. So they had like it was free at the time, and it was also there were prizes if you kept up with the knit along. Every month there was a new part released, and you would post your progress on Ravelry in a group, and you could win prizes and that sort of thing. I kept up for a few months. I'm good at that. And then of course everything just falls off the wagon. But the entire point for me was, again, learning. This was the first large project that I did in knitting, like my first large project that I started. Before that, I had only done like dishcloths. So it's really good. I want to finish it, but it is so big at this point. It takes almost 12 full skeins of yarn. And so this is the corner that I have. I didn't buy the yarn pack because that was like a lot for someone who didn't even know if they were gonna enjoy knitting or not. So I pulled some hand-me-down acrylic yarn that I'd been given by my grandma, made like a color gradient of blues and grays for my 12 colors, and started. So this is section 1, and that is the back, so that's showing you nothing. There we go. So this was section 1. It is a triangular. You increase, and then decrease back to make the blanket. So this next one was section 2. I had a mess up at some point here and got off, but the stitch numbers were correct, so I just kept going. So there's like a line, pretty good demarcation between. Don't care, I was learning, I wasn't gonna unpick it. This next section here, and then this is the section I'm working on. This yarn is so dark you really can't see the stitches too much, but all the others you can see the stitches. So yeah, it's gonna be big because this is just 3 parts done, and it's as big as that shawl that I just showed you, which is almost done. So now that it's getting cooler though, and also where my stitchy bug is not fully back, I have been knitting a lot more. Just normally I would only knit when I was traveling or in a car or traveling by any means, I guess. But I've been sitting on the couch and knitting, so instead of, like, normally I would use that as my stitching time, and I haven't wanted to stitch. So I think with it getting cooler, I want to finish the shawl and then have this as a background project. I have some more, like I really want to do the Boneyard shawl from West Knits. That's a free pattern. I already have the yarn for that. I bought that a while back. So I would like to do that shawl for myself. But we'll see. I don't want to start anything else until I at least finish my shawl. But then we'll see where the wind takes me. Okay, that's all the knitting. Let me put all this pattern stuff away. Okay, let's do Stitchy Kindness, because I really want people to see that, and I know some people don't care about like haul and other stuff. So So I had mentioned that I did I've done the Frogwarts retreats for years 3, 4, and 5 now. And Jenny, the quilt junkie, during the last one earlier this summer, we messaged a bit about it. I actually did not participate a lot in the stitching rooms because I'm just antisocial like that. I took the time off work. There were a lot of stitching challenges and games and events and stuff, and I participated in almost everything. I even did the extra, like, optional Quidditch. I locked myself in my craft room and pretty much, you know, spent the whole time there. So I participated in the retreat, but didn't participate a ton in the stitching rooms. So we didn't talk in one of the stitching rooms, but we had messaged on Instagram outside of it. And anyway, I had like helped her with the floss conversion between the DMC and the called for fancy floss, since I had both. And well, as a thank you, she sent me a she reached out. She wanted to send me a stitching case that she had made. I guess she's one of those people who just really likes to sew and is not just sewing for the end result. So I'm like, you don't have to do that. There was no expectation whatsoever, but she's just generous to a fault. She wouldn't even let me pay for shipping. But let me show you what she made me. So this is with some Christmas fabric, but she saw in those photos that I am a bobbinator as far as the Atom Heart floss bobbins that can also work as floss drops. So she saw I had those and knew that I would use a bobbin case. So look at this! How amazing! Like, I just am in awe of your sewing skills, Jenny, and your generosity. I really appreciate it so much. So, of course, the case itself was way more than she needed to do, but she customized this zipper pull with my name. I don't know if you're able to see it, but she didn't buy that off the rack. that is homemade. I was just so excited. As a kid, every time we would go somewhere where they had like the customized name, whatever, like little trinkets, mostly just the kids are the only ones excited. Every single time I knew my name was not going to be there, but I looked anyway. And it was always disappointing to never find my name. So opening that and seeing my name on the zipper pull was so sweet. It made my day. And then she also included some extras. So she included this Ort catcher, which I love these. And this one is like super sturdy. You can tell there's like batting in there. I will show you this. This is her information, the Quilt Junkie. And this is a needle minder, which of course I'm going to leave with this. The inside pattern here is like horsey Christmas, cowboy Christmas. I don't know, like I love it. She's from Texas, so it's perfect. Love that. So The cowboy hat does kind of fit, so that's just gonna stay with the project. And I hadn't put anything in because I wanted to show it off. Of course, there was a super sweet note. Cowboy boot scissors. Also staying with this project, I'm gonna put a scissor sheath on them, and they're going right back in here. She had asked me if I could use some batting scraps for like finishing cross stitch. You know, either as flats, you'll put it in between your stitching and the mat board, or I usually use iron-on interfacing for my pillows, but of course I will gladly take your batting scraps, because it usually doesn't take a lot to finish some of these cross stitch smalls, which are the main thing that I actually finish. So and then love this. This is called Stompy the Yule Goat. I love this so much. So this is by Amy Jane Walker. I guess the company is Odd and Familiar. I believe she said, oh, it's been a while since I've read the note. I believe she said that she had already stitched it. Yes. But yeah, so she has already stitched Stompy, and I have got to stitch Stompy this year. I just love it so much. It's definitely one of those ones where my husband is like, just why? Like, why would someone make a pattern of that? Because of people like me who think it's wonderful. Yeah. So, oh, I was talking about the batting scraps too. She did something so smart and wrapped the goodies in the batting, and like had protected the vinyl with the batting on the inside. Like, perfect way to safely ship something and go ahead and reuse your scraps. Love it. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. I was blown away by the offer, and then you sent more than what you'd originally offered. Thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead now and I'll show you my fabric of the months. I have two from BeStitchMe, one from Fiberlicious. I did go ahead and cancel my Fiberlicious subscription just because I don't need to, and overall I just adore BeStitchMe. Don't get me wrong, Fiberlicious has some absolutely stunning fabric. It's just, there's occasionally one in the Fiberlicious pile that I don't have a clue what I'm gonna stitch on it. But I have never, I take that back. There was one in a summer BeStitchMe box that is like neon orange that I have yet to find something to put on that. But for the most part, I've never had issues finding patterns to put on my BeStitchMe ones. Like, yeah, they're wild, they're mottled, I love that mottled and a little more wild. But yeah, just overall, I've had a few that I don't know what to put on them, and I don't need to, so I decided to go with BeStitchMe. after I show you those, life update, and then I'll let you go. If you stuck around this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate every single person that decides to watch one of my videos. It means the world to me. So let me go ahead and show you the Fiberlicious fabric. So this was, I believe this was August. This is called Thundercloud. So that is pretty true. It is a black gray. This one, of course, there's no trouble finding anything to put on that. Just about anything from the Witchy Stitcher would go on this. Anything Halloween. Just about a ton of patterns would go on that. No trouble. Not an example of what I was talking about. And then I have July and August for BeStitchMe. They send out their fabric towards the very end of the month, so it hadn't arrived yet when I filmed at the end of July. So this is the July. It is called Coconut Shell. And that's pretty true, but it's, I don't know, it looks a little more like bluey gray on the screen than it is in real life. It's a mottled brown. Brown with maybe a little bit of orangey undertone. But it definitely does have a gray undertone as well. I don't know. It's a brown. Yep. I believe that was, I get the alternating color and neutral. I think this was neutral. But it is definitely like a really good grungy brown. Perfect for all the fall and Halloween stuff I love to stitch. And then August's was Sandbar, which is stunning. So, yeah, it's like a creamy tan to blue, like a cerulean blue on the outside with some darker splotches. So both of the BeStitchMe ones are 32 count linen, which is just my favorite. And then the Fiberlicious was an 18 count Ada. And that was another reason too, like I just started getting too much. And I do like my Ada as well, but overall just 32 count linen, that's what I would prefer to stitch on. The only other thing I wanted to show that I had purchased was, this was a pre-order when I got the Arctic Animals stitch along from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, which I haven't started. But I got the needle minder and the sticker bundle. And I have to show you these. So the needle minder is like, I don't remember his name. I think they made a name. It's just a candy corn bat creature thing. Love it. This sticker is the one that sold me. This is like Halloween sunscreen. This is SPF 1000 plus. That is what I need. I was like, yep, we're buying the sticker pack. Happy Summerween. Was this when I got the Arctic Animals, or was this when they did the Summerween stuff? This must have been the Summerween stuff. This is, don't mind me. This is when they did their Summerween event. And then this is the last sticker. Just so cute. And they do have some of my favorite needle minders, just because really love these wood ones. I think her name's Maria, that from A Needle Runs Through It, that they work with for their needle minders, does a really good job on getting small details, even on these, like they're laser cut wood, but she gets fine details really well. So they just, like, the designs are really good, the quality is really good. I really love the wood because they're pretty light, so they don't, like, for example, this Disney pin one on my Deadly Aquarium, it is really heavy on the fabric, and just, it's not a huge deal, but if I have my preference, I like the lighter wood ones. So, yeah, I just had to get that 1,000 plus SPF. Okay. That is it as far as anything vaguely stitchy related. If you're not interested in what's been going on with me, what I've gotten up to, what are we at on time? Okay, I'm probably gonna skip books and just talk about a couple of video games I've been playing. So yeah. If you're gonna leave me here, I still really appreciate you. You don't have to stick around for the rest if you're not interested. That's totally fine. But yeah, thank you so much. Please comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what I could improve. I'm opening myself up here. Go ahead and comment, tell me anything. I love it. I love getting that notification and seeing that someone watched my video and wanted to talk to me about it. Okay. It's been a lot. We've had a very busy summer, mostly good. Of course, you know, there's always ups and downs, that's life, but I've done a lot of work travel. The summer's always really busy for me. We have the best weather in general, like as far as storms and travel delays and stuff, so that's always the time that I have to do all my work travel. I had one in late August that actually, it was in the Chicago area and there were tornadoes, so I had to just fly out and come right back a few weeks later as a redo. So it is always easier to travel in the summer because you don't have to worry about most of that stuff. Anything could happen, but usually it's better travel conditions in the summer. So that's through the week, and then on the weekends there have just been a lot of social events, family events, things going on. Like I said, mostly good, just busy. And when I get done with socializing, my battery is empty and I just want to curl up and sleep or watch TV. We have been watching The Good Place. It's not like an old TV show, but it's not new either. So, but new to me, I hadn't watched it. My husband convinced me. I don't watch a ton of TV, but we've been watching that. What else? I have opened, like, I've been being sociable, and I went to an event at a bookstore, a local bookstore, in Cincinnati, they do a Stitch and Sip event. I think last month was the first one, and they're gonna be continuing that monthly. If you are in the Cincinnati area, it's on a weeknight at 7 p.m. Weeknights at 7 p.m. on a day that they choose in advance, I guess, just based on the rest of their schedule. It's Joseph Beth is the bookseller. They have one in Lexington and in Cincinnati, and they both do this event. So if you also live in the Lexington area, check their website for their calendar of events, and it'll be Stitch and Sip. So I went to that, didn't know anybody that was going. I actually took knitting because I didn't want to be like the only person there doing cross stitch, but there was actually a really good variety of people who were doing embroidery or cross stitch, and then people who were like knitting or crocheting. So could totally do either. If you've got friends who maybe don't cross stitch but knit or crochet, you could still hang out together and do this event. I think it was like a couple hours. It was really low key. They had like lemonade and water. It was mostly just like a hangout with like-minded people. Was not really focused on the sip part. But Joseph Beth also has a like a cafe restaurant situation. I've never been there, but a friend of mine tells me it's really good. So you could get like dinner and drinks and stuff before this, which is what I think several people did. So yeah, I did that last month. I'm gonna do that this month as well. I think that's next week. So I also went to the Stitchy meetup that Erin and Amity of the Hathaway Stitchers had at one of our local libraries. That was so much fun. It was the closest event that has ever happened to me. Like, because I live in the Cincy area, I'm not that far from keepsakes, from StitchCon, from, from events, but this was like 15 minutes or less from my house, and that is so nice. Like, I don't think you can beat right down the road. They're doing that again as well this month, and so again, if you're in the Cincinnati, Boone County, Northern Kentucky area, check out, I know Amity has posted it on Instagram as Boomerang Stitches. She's posted the info, location and time, date for that on her Instagram, so check that out. I believe, again, both of these are going to be monthly events, so I'm stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit. I'm a pretty loud, enthusiastic person, and it's not that that's not genuine. It is. It's just meeting new people and such is, it's scary and exhausting, and it is outside of my comfort zone. So these things are really good for me, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm also really lucky to have events like this to do this. I know a lot of people either their areas don't have it, or maybe if they do, it's not accessible to them. I believe one of the libraries has a cross stitch or diamond painting group that meets up, but it's I don't know, Thursdays at 2 or something. It's a weekday during the day, and if you have a day job, you can't go, so it could be something like that where it's just not accessible to you, or doesn't exist, unfortunately, but I would definitely check out your local libraries for groups like that. You can also reach out to your library about scheduling these things. That's what Aaron and Amity did for their event. They rented out a room. I mean, it's free, you just have to reserve it with your library card. And there you go. Like, but yeah, it's that's been really good. Very exciting to meet people, be closer, get closer to some of these people I've met before, and love that. We have some travel plans coming up. Besides Stitch North in October, my husband and I my husband's been getting very jealous of my cross stitch time, where I've been taking vacation to go to these cross stitch retreats and not spend time with him. So we are going on a weekend trip, like a long weekend, to go to the Biltmore estate and see some. Like I said, it's in October we're going, and so I expect the weather to be nicer. This is the Carolinas, so it's usually muggy and humid. So we wanted to go when it'd be cooler, and I'm hoping that the fall colors will be in full, all their glory, and we can take a lot of photos. It's gonna be a pretty low-key, relaxing trip. We wanna, just walk around the gardens. It is a giant estate, and we're doing the estate tour, like the house tour, but the biggest thing for us is we wanted to do the outside parts as well, because my husband's a photographer and loves finding new birds and taking photos of like the landscape, the flowers, everything like that. So that was honestly like the biggest seller for us. So anything else that we do on that trip is gonna just be the cherry on top. We are of course running the risk that it's gonna rain the whole weekend, but what can you do? We'll still just walk around in the rain, but would make for a less delightful trip. But it'll be really good. It's not that I have, been intentionally not going on trips with him. It's just I see these things and I'm like, oh, want to go to that, and then plan it, and he's a little indecisive on vacation planning. So, but hey, it'll be fine. There is no marital strife here. We're all good. Let me check my list here. There was one thing I wanted to mention. I actually had the great pleasure of having some extra time on my hands when I went to Toronto for work this last trip. So the first time I ever went, it was like a back-to-back trip from, I flew in from Mexico on a Friday, again for work, and then flew to Canada on a Monday. And I was very sick. When they say don't drink the water in Mexico, it's not a joke. The some of the microbes in the water are not what everyone is used to, and I mean, unless you're like really weak, old, young, infirm, I don't think it's gonna kill you, but it will make you very uncomfortable. Very, very bad abdominal cramps. Like, was not a pleasant experience. So that trip to Canada, like to our Toronto plant, I had a little extra time, and it's not that far from Niagara Falls, but I just did not feel like going, so I just laid around in the hotel instead of going anywhere. So this trip was much better. So anyway, I made it to Niagara Falls. All of that to say, I had some extra time and got to go to Niagara Falls on my last trip to Toronto, and that was really cool. I didn't do any of the like tours where you go out on the water or anything like that, but I was on the Canada side. I did not go over to the American side, but she's telling me. But it was a lot. Like, this was just like a random weekday. It was packed with people from all over creation, and it was really cool. Like, I love hearing like different languages, and I mean, I can't recognize all of them, but it's really cool to just hear the different languages, to see the variety of people in places like this, and it was really fun to people watch. But yeah, I mostly walked down to a couple of the overlooks. Parking was expensive, no shock there though. Looked at the falls, took some photos, was like, yep, that's a waterfall. I have now seen Niagara Falls. And then went to a brewery. I checked out the Niagara Brewing Company, and they had some good beer. I walked the little like touristy, I don't know the name of the road, but like the little touristy strip, and there were so many little like tourist things that I would have loved to have done. I'm really not a putt-putt fan, and they had at least 2 putt-putt or mini golf courses that I gladly would have done. So they looked really good. Like, one was an indoor one that was like a wizard theme. They had haunted houses galore, which I'm sure would be really cool to go like during spooky season. I don't know if they do anything special or if they're just year round, but this was completely out of spooky season and they still had haunted houses, so that was cool. There was a Burger King with a Frankenstein coming out of its head. I mean, like, coming out of the like Frankenstein head coming out of the Burger King. I'll put up photos as I've been talking, but so that was really cool. It, like I said, it was, I would like to go back with people and have more time instead of just like 2 or 3 hours. Not even that, really. I could have stayed a little longer, but again, like, I'd rather have been there with people and experience some of these things, but it was really cool to see. That might be it. No. I wanted to talk about some games. So, this is not really a proper shout out, but Michaela at Cinematic Stitches does a reading, watching, and playing section of her videos, and I'm completely ripping that off here. Well, not really, because I'm only going to be talking about the games, but that is the idea that I want to be to do going forward when I get back on a regular schedule, which, spoiler, the month of October is incredibly busy, so don't know when I'll film next. We're just gonna roll with it. Hopefully I'll just have more progress for you next time. So, games. I played the game called Unpacking. This, if you have PlayStation Plus, the second tier, the one that gives you like the library of games you can play, it's in that. It's also on Steam. I don't know where else it's at, but my husband played it on Steam and I played it on PlayStation Plus. It's a very short, we're talking 2 hours maybe, where you are literally unpacking boxes of like household things. But you're following along and you're learning about the life of the character. So as you are unpacking, starting with the childhood home, like the childhood bedroom, based on the things that you're unpacking and like putting away in these rooms, you're like picking up the story, and it's very zen, but it's also fun. Like I got one achievement for unpacking baby blocks and stacking them into a tower instead of like, I don't know, just throwing them on the floor. So the way that you unpack things and where you put them matters. And yeah, I don't know. Very short. Like I said, I'm not sure the cost, since I didn't purchase it to play it. But I don't think it's very expensive, and it's just a sweet, chill, zen, zero stakes game. So next, and I believe I mentioned it last time, I played Dredge. Just a recap on what that is, because I don't remember what I said forever ago. But it is a like horror fishing game. So you are a fisherman who, in your little fishing boat, you can fish and dredge in the waters off of these islands. But at nighttime, funky things happen, and you try to figure out why. This is another pretty short game, and that's why I'm talking about it twice, because it does have a couple of DLCs, and those were the new things that I played. The first one is called, I think, the Pale Reach, and that it extends the play area to a like an Arctic type area, and there's a small plot addition as well while you're there, but that's the first DLC. And then the second DLC is called the Iron Rig, and this is actually really new. It just came out at this point maybe about a month ago, but it is new content, which it does not extend the play area. It uses the play area you already have, but it adds additional like ship upgrades, new fish, and a little story as well. Again, so I played Dredge through the PlayStation Plus library, so I'm really not sure of the cost. Again, though, I don't think it's that expensive. For the base game, I would say maybe 10-12 hours, depending on how much of a completionist you are on wanting to catch like all the fish, different types of fish in all the different areas. And then each of the DLCs maybe 3 to 5 hours, depending again on how much of a completionist you are. My favorite thing about this game though is that the base game 100% is my favorite, because the story is so good. And I also really enjoyed that there is a setting where I think it's called passive mode, where some of the big creepy things won't attack you. There is, if you care about achievements, there is one achievement that you cannot get if you play on passive mode. In the Iron Rig DLC. Everything else, I don't think it matters whatsoever, and it just made it so much less stressful for me. Like, I didn't start out with it on, but then the first time like I got attacked, I was like, no, we're just gonna turn the passive mode on. And it didn't affect how much I love the story. It just made it less stressful, and therefore made me enjoy it more, because I'm not playing these video games to get like the adrenaline or something, or like the thrill of figuring out how to beat the boss and beating the boss. That's not what I'm playing. I'm playing just, another way to escape reality. So I loved that was an option. The third game, which will be the last one that I want to talk about, is called Dave the Diver. So I originally heard about this again on Michaela's and My Next Stitches channel. She had mentioned it, and then I loved Dredge so much that I heard there was a Dredge DLC for Dave the Diver. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. Once again, it's also on the PlayStation Plus library, so I didn't pay for it. I bought the DLCs. Like, I think I've done that on both. I bought the DLCs, but not the base game. And so in Dave the Diver, you are Dave, the main character, who is this chubby little guy who likes to dive and scuba dive, if that's not clear. And he has a predatory friend who wants to use him to make money. He has a antisocial friend who knows how to cook but is not good with people. So how do you combine all of these things? You go diving during the day, and during the evenings you help run a sushi restaurant with the fish that you caught during the day. And then of course there's also a story, because you're trying to figure out what's causing these earthquakes around where you're diving. It was a lot of fun, right up until you die because a shark attacked you, and then it's not so fun. I actually just beat this one very recently, and by beat I mean I finished the story. There is a few more reasons to keep playing after that. In the others there really wasn't, but in this one there are a few things that I'll still probably go back and do. But yeah, this was way bigger than I expected. I easily got 30 plus hours of gameplay. One thing that I expected, I expected this to be a cozy game. I expected that low stakes, I don't know, like, I guess I was expecting like Stardew Valley of the Sea or something like that, where, okay, sure, like you could die in the mines or something, but it's not the point here. The point is just to have fun. No, Dave the Diver, definitely you're gonna die. Probably a lot too. I wouldn't say it's no stakes, but it is kind of low stakes. You may die a lot, but it's not really gonna, it doesn't matter that much. You just lose dive time. So you have to go back, and whatever you had collected while you're diving, you lose, except for one. You're allowed to take one little thing with you, and you have to go back and regather it. Some of the boss fights were annoying, as in, like, you would have to figure out what you're supposed to do, so you would die a few times until you figured it out. It was a little more annoying than I wanted to deal with. I just wanted to do my dive and get my fish and then go make my sushi. But obviously I liked it enough to complete it. I thought the story was fun, very entertaining. Like I said, way more involved and in depth than I expected whatsoever. But the Dredge DLC and then the Godzilla DLC were the reasons why I really pulled this out. So I'm really not, like, you know, a huge Godzilla fan, but my husband is. And so I've seen some of the more recent movies and it's fun. It's just a good time, right? So I got the Godzilla DLC and it's fun. Like, there are a lot of good things about this game that definitely make it still worth playing, even though, of course, like, I did have a couple of little... I cursed a lot of shark species names in this game. I would just want to be going to get whatever I was trying to get, and a shark would see me and be like, no! Ugh. So yeah. And then of course you would finally, like, upgrade your stuff and whatnot and be able to not be so bothered by the low, like, not so deep sharks, and you would go deeper and, oh, now there's new things to kill you. So yeah, just be forewarned, it's not as no stress as as the other two that I mentioned. Okay, that's gonna be it for me. Hopefully I will not be gone as long next time. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you made it this far. However long you watch, it all means so much to me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so we're gonna call it here. I hope you guys have a great evening, night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.